A new add-in has been created which allows easier programming of components when working in conjunction with the part library. This add-in matches names of the part library features with user-created curves which are used for those features. The names should be preceded by an underscore followed by either turn, bore or T-groove. This depends on which type of feature the name applies to. For example, you could name your curves curve turn 1, curve bore 1 and curve T-groove 1, with the part library features having similar names. This allows the add-in to determine which type of feature the pasted part library feature is and set the correct curve accordingly. In this example you can see we've got two components. Each is a very similar pulley type component. So here is component 1. If you click on the second image, this will load component number 2. In this case you can see there's a slightly different length on the front of the face, and likewise there's a series of holes and so on. So there's a bit of a difference between the two different components. What we wish to do is go through component number 1. We're going to go through a teaching process to teach the part library the different feature types, and then automate the process to program the second component. This makes programming families of parts much quicker and much easier. So the first thing we need to do is load in the add-in itself. So we click on the folder icon. This gives us the folder location for our setupcurves.bas file. We can then go to our options, add-ins, browse to that directory just by pasting that link in there, say OK, and then open the setupcurves.bas file. This opens a new toolbar and we get an icon on the top. Next we need to program or add the features to the part library itself. Now the features have already been created in this case. You can see we've got turn 1, turn 2, we've got a grooving operation, a boring operation and a second grooving operation in the face. You can see for each of these operations we have an associated curve. Now it is important that you get these curve names correct in both the parent and the child feature for the family, so that we can actually paste the new feature types from the part library directly and intelligently use these curves. In this case you can see the significance bore 1, T-groove 1, T-groove 2, and we've got turn 1 and turn 2. If I play a 3D simulation just to give you an idea of what the part looks like, you can see the different features where we've got the bore, the turn, the grooves and so on. So I'm going to take each one of these features and add those into the part library. So we're going to go part library, I'm going to create a new part library, and in this case I'm going to place this in my temporary directory. I'm going to create a new folder, I'll call this one pulleys. I'm going to select that folder and create a 64-bit library. I can now take each one of these features and add those into my part library. So each one of the features gets added in directly, like so. I've now populated the part library with the features that I wish to then paste into my next component. Let's switch to our next window. So here is my second component. Note that there are no features here, but in terms of the curve names we have the same naming convention. Bore 1, we have groove 1, groove 2, turn 1 and turn 2. In this case I'm going to rename these. So we want to have the same name, so we're going to call these ones T-groove, and again I'm going to rename this one, call this one T-groove. So once we've got the naming convention the same, if we go to the previous window, just minimize that down, you'll see we've got the same curve names. We can see they're identical. If I was then to click on my setup curves macro, it pastes those features in. You can see all the features appear in our list like so, and I can reorder these as I want them based on the operation numbers. I can then play my simulation and I get my part machined, like so. This greatly speeds up the automated process of programming part families.